Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining my live. I am Yolanda. This is, and excuse me, let me try this again. Let me get professional about this. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Yolanda. I am locating cozy, and this is a broad chat. So, thank you guys for joining. I'm really excited, of course, yes, to do another live stream with another dope person, another dope Black woman, and just sharing what's going on in our world and how we are surviving out here in this absolute craziness. So right now, I want to go ahead and bring on Miss Khephra. Hello, Khephra. How you doing, girl?
Hey, Sugar Bun, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Wow. It's been, I haven't seen you. When was the last time we saw each other? We went to lunch in Madrid. That was this past summer. So we haven't
Yeah, that
seen
was in the
each
summer.
other. Okay. Okay. So y'all know I'd be like interviewing wonderful Black women. And I was like, Khephra, please, you got to come on. We got to come on. Now, I'm going to say this and just start this off. And I want to thank Keoka for this. Keoka from the Awkward Black Nomad hit me to something because sometimes I'll be like having some great conversations. And usually my interviews are going like maybe hour, 15 minutes. I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like it's unfinished sometimes. Like I didn't get it all in. I didn't get all the conversation. I'm like, I need to have them come back and in a few months. And I'm like, or you can have them come back next week or the week after and maybe just do I don't know, maybe a pre-record that I'll post later on. So I am just saying this now. If it gets really good and we do have to cut off at like an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half, just know there'll probably be a part two coming soon.
I'm
Okay.
down. I'm down. And I just thought of something I should have asked before we started. Whoops, my
But
bad. I will just legal disclaimer, I will do my best to control my language. I got a mouth like a trucker.
okay. Well, I curse like a sailor. So we're good.
Oh, we
We're
need
good right
okay.
here.
On and
Okay.
popping. Say less.
Yes, I try to avoid it, but I'm like, this is not meant for children, and it's meant. This platform, this communication, this conversation is meant for us to speak freely and just enjoy ourselves and have a great time. So
Yeah,
that's what
I
we're gonna do.
try, but I don't succeed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So before we get started, there's always a couple of things that I like to just ask and just get a kind of a gauge on, like what's going on in your world.
Ooh,
What's some
child.
random thing that's just happening right now that you're like, so this is what I just did.
I rejoined my gym.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I hadn't gone in 2 years, so I signed up. They had a promo, and cheap is my second favorite C word, so I love a discount. And I signed up. I rejoined Tuesday night, and I went to my first spinning class in 2 years last night.
Oh, wow.
Everything hurts and I'm dying, but I did it.
Okay.
And I started a belly dance class. So I take belly dance on Saturdays.
Okay. So now wait a minute, because okay, you did the spin class last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm intimidated. I haven't done that in a long, long time, more than a year or so ago. Belly
Uh-huh.
dance, I've heard about this, but then also, weren't you doing a yoga in the park or something on Saturdays or some day a week or something like that?
Yeah, I teach yoga in the park when it's nice and pretty on Monday and Wednesday nights.
Okay. Okay. So you doing way more than me. I was like, I'm trying
I
to
think
get
so.
hair out of my face. As you come in, please do make sure that you say like, hello, what's up? Let me know that you're here, that you're joining. I appreciate it. If you're catching this on the replay later on, I encourage you just to go in the comments and give your thoughts, give your feedback, and just say like, hey, I'm watching. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. Again, this channel, Locating Cozy, is just about me just finding joy and just sharing my experiences and talking to other wonderful women that are just sharing their experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, about what it's like to live in your truth, to make decisions that are going to make you happy. How about that? Okay. And so now what's going on in my world? We'll go into it a little bit, but yesterday, I'm starting to do some apartment hunting now. My lease will be up. Well, my lease actually said that I just had to be here for 6 months, and then I just have to give 30 days notice. But when I actually posted in the group that I actually am renting from, like I found my landlord, my apartment through the same group, she was like, "I thought thought you were going to stay a year. And it's like, well, yeah, but then I looked at my contract and it says, and she was like, oh, well, I thought the verbal agreement don't mean crap. Lady, what? Says, okay, that I can leave. Now, I don't want to because I really do like my apartment. Don't get me wrong. But and I had a little reality check because when I went to go look at some apartments yesterday, there was one apartment that I was very interested in. And the only reason that I'm really moving is because one, I need to work on bringing my dog over, and I just really miss having a pet. I really do. But I went, and there was a really nice apartment that they were remodeling, and I was very interested. But I also was like, I want to get my own furniture until I walked into a bare apartment, and I was like, oh, I have to get all the furniture, like yeah, everything. And that's reality kind of kicked in. I was like, well, maybe I don't need to get a whole, like, empty apartment, maybe partially furnished, but just doing the cha-ching, 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 like, and, in my brain as I'm looking at this new apartment and like, oh, this is going to cost something, or could stay here. Okay. or find another place that's partially furnished. The big thing is I just want another couch. I appreciate the couch. I want another couch. Okay, that's my big thing. And so yeah, but yeah, right now I'm just going through the whole thing of looking for a possible new apartment. We're going to get into that because I know you just moved recently, so we're going to get into that in a little bit, definitely. And so yeah, and the other thing that I like to ask and see what's going on and talk about is, as I'm sitting up there trying to bring it up, how are you locating your cozy? What have you done? And I know, okay, now you went to the Spain class, and I know that was for you also, but something that you've done recently that was just about you, selfish and all, it was just about you, and something that just brought you joy. Tell us, what have you done?
Can it be future plans? Maybe.
Let's do it. Yeah, talk about it.
Okay, so I just spent a fuck ton of money on Kendrick Lamar tickets.
Oh my God.
Like, holy shit. I bought my Kendrick Lamar ticket. I bought my train ticket, and I just reserved my hotel room.
Where is the concert? Where are you going?
It's July 31st.
Where's that at? Where's it going to be at?
It's going to be in Barcelona.
Okay. Oh, that hurt. But you know what? Seeing Kendrick Lamar is bringing you joy.
I've waited 10 years.
You have never seen him in concert before?
Yeah, no, I've waited 10 years.
Wow.
So the way my credit card flew out of my wallet and just hit the computer screen when the tickets went on sale. I was like, I am not responsible for what I do in the next 30 minutes because I'm going.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. It's the 30th. It's July 30th. Doesn't matter. I'll be in Barcelona.
Okay. No, there was one. Maybe it was the one that's in Barcelona, or maybe I think he's going to London.
He's doing London too. Like, we were looking at a few places in case they sold out, but I was able to get tickets to Barcelona, and I immediately booked my train tickets and my hotel tickets before the rest of the globe could, and the prices went up because it's summer already. And I don't do last minute. I don't like last minute. Okay. If I can help it, and especially for something this important, I don't want to be out without a place to stay or without, a way to get there. So I reserved everything.
Okay. I'm just trying to see here, make sure that we are on point. Hold on just a second. Okay, good. Yes, we're good. I told you, it's like I just went to the YouTube thing to make sure. It's like, is it blurry? Are we blurry?
Yeah.
No. We good. And so,
I'm trying to connect to the chat, but it's not loyal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it should show. It should be showing up. I see people coming in, and somebody did just make a comment and stuff, but I'm going to go there in just a minute. But the funny thing was, one of my youngest daughter, Kayla, who lives here in Zaragoza, where I live, she's pregnant, second baby, expecting coming July, sometime in July. And one of her friends, because Kayla really wanted to go to the Kendrick Lamar concert, and she was really trying to figure it out. And I think one of her friends said, "Well, the London one. So after you have the baby, you can just go out and hop a plane and just go do a weekend trip to London for the Kendrick Lamar." She's like, "You clearly don't have no kids." Because she was like,
I don't.
"I have a toddler and a newborn and a husband, and I'm supposed to like go jump on a plane." Now, for some people, that's going to work just fine for them. They're like, "No, it's covered. I'm still going." Okay. But yeah, Kayla was like, "No, I don't see how that's going to work." It may have been that they were suggesting that she come to the Barcelona, like, 2 weeks after she has the baby. But okay.
Oh yeah, that's if you just had a child. No, that's
Yeah. She's like
done.
my whole world looks a little bit different after that. But yeah, but she really wanted to go. Yes, definitely. How am I locating my cozy? I don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you know what? I take that back. I do know, because I have on my calendar in the future, I'm actually going to take a break from vlogging in May. That's my
Oh,
goal. Yes, I did, because it's like I've been like constantly vlogging now, pretty strong now for like the past, like I started going live last May. And
okay.
so I was like, you know what? A year. I've been like going live like once a week, and then I started doing twice a week. So I'm like, you know what? You're going to take May off. So I have my last guest before I take a May break is going to be, I'm going to actually be interviewing Kayla again, my
Ah,
youngest daughter. Yeah. So I'm like,
okay.
yeah, that's going to be the season closer right there. And then I'm going to take like a month off, or I don't know, maybe longer. We'll see. But I'm taking May off, and I'm looking forward to that. I really am. Yeah. So that's me locating my cozy. Come May, I'm taking a break. I'm really planning to take a break because I'll be moving, hopefully, during that time into my new dwelling.
Into
Um,
your new apartment with your new couch.
yes, with my new couch, possible baby shower stuff happening. Yeah, all that. Yes. Okay.
All right.
So definitely. So yeah, that's my locating my cozy and my big anticipation for the future. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You should thank yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well deserved.
Oh, on the back. Hello.
My coworkers always laugh because I like to give myself an air high five every time I do something.
Yeah, just fist bumping myself like boom.
Right?
Thank you for joining. I know that some of y'all are watching now and some are gonna watch later on. But Erica, thank you for joining. She said, "Hola, nice to be here live. What up?" Yes.
Hey,
I have a
beautiful.
pretty busy schedule. Yeah, leading up to coming to Madrid. Well, I go to Madrid for like tomorrow. I'm going to Madrid for like a week or so because I got a pet sit. I just was like, it was perfect because it was time for me just to go back and visit Madrid. So when this lady that I pet sit before, she was like, "So hey, can you come back?" And she had one in April and one this month. And I said, "Well, I can't do the April one, but I can do the March one." So yes, and I'll be seeing you.
Yes.
I'm
Are
gonna
they
be,
cats?
huh?
Are they
No,
cats or dogs?
it's a dog. It's a dog. It's a dog, but she has a nice high rise. So yeah, and yeah, I
Right.
like the area. Yeah. Besides this, the only thing that's weird about the location, because it's like in northern Madrid,
Okay.
but it's like there's three or four main grocery stores. They're like all in one shopping strip. It's so, I mean, it's nice because I have options, but my problem is to get back and forth, you have to pass the park, and the park is like, is it downhill, uphill? One of them going back, yeah, going back is like uphill, and I hate it. Okay. I hate it. Freaking hate it. But overall, yes.
No, I get it because like I did spinning class yesterday and walking to my gym, it's a straight shot downhill for like 10
Mhm.
minutes. After that 50-minute spinning class, I was just standing up there like, bus.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna take that 5 minute bus because I don't feel like walking, 20
No,
minutes. No, no.
have I
Okay.
not suffered enough? After that,
Thank you. Yes. And no guilt at all. Be like, "You
nope,
lazy."
no, thank you.
I'm okay. So, Khephra, as we get started, and we're going to be sharing a lot today, and I'm just going to say this, okay? I know Khephra, I'm going to try to stay on point. Y'all know a lot of times I don't stay on point, and that's okay. So, but yes, I look forward to this again. Please make sure that you're saying hello in the comments. If you have questions about either one of us being in Madrid and this whole wonderful journey that we've been on, please do put the Q in front and ask away. I encourage you to ask questions and be interactive in this whole process. But Khephra, can you go ahead and tell us about yourself?
Oh, Lord. I am from New Orleans with a side of Atlanta, joint custody kid. And I've been doing theater since I was a child. My degree is in theater and journalism. I did a double major because I hate sleeping. I came to Madrid. I came to Madrid in December 2013, doing the language assistant program, the Auxiliar de Conversación program. I think now they call it NALCAP. We didn't have cute acronyms when I got here, but it was it was a way to get to Spain and get paid to be here. So I took the leap and applied, and I got placed in Madrid, and I have been here ever since. That's the Cliff Notes version.
You said that was 2013?
2013, yes.
Okay. And what's so funny about that is, or the irony is, like, everybody, of course, now is like when they apply for like the NALCAP or whatever auxiliary programs, it's like they're automatically Madrid, Barcelona, that's, and they're like, no, you have to be open to other places that are not the most popular. So,
well, you did back then.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they give you a choice, and the choice is silent. It's more like a preference of different regions, and you can choose three. So when I chose Madrid, Barcelona, and like Navarra. And I was placed in Madrid. I was a late placement. Someone dropped out, and my number was next.
Oh, wow.
What I did not know, I said Barcelona, but Catalonia. What I did not know at the time was that Catalonia and Navarra weren't even in the program anymore. They've actually left the program.
Okay.
They were still on the selection. That's the thing.
Where's Navarra?
It's like the north, I believe, northeast.
Okay.
I'm completely sure. Actually, I still haven't been. Imagine that.
Wow. So what was the vibe like? Well, I mean, so you come here. How prepared do you think that you were versus the reality of how prepared you were?
Yeah. By the way, northeast. I was right. How prepared was I? Wow. There's one thing about you. It's like you said, what you think as opposed to what you are.
Mm-hmm.
I realized things are harder, especially if you're not that apt at the language.
Okay. Yeah.
I came during the holidays too. So in Spain, Christmas holiday is long. They have Christmas, then the Three Kings. They have Christmas, New Year's, and then the Three Kings. So say when I was looking for apartments, no one was in Madrid. They couldn't show apartments, and I didn't understand. When people were like, I'm not in Madrid, I can't show you the apartment. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not in Madrid? Isn't this apartment in Madrid? There's little things like that.
Okay. So
because you're on your own. Go ahead.
Was there like an existing community that you were able to connect with coming into the program? There was nothing.
Nothing. No. And that's what's so funny, because I remember my grandmother saying like, is someone going to meet you at the airport? And I was like, no, absolutely not. A lot of the community that is here now with the Auxiliar Madrid group, and I'm one of the admins for, and Melon in Madrid, even is that we created those because they weren't around when we got here. We had nothing. They just put us on the plane and we landed, and they were like, hey girl, welcome. Don't die. All right. Good luck. God bless. The The
And I
rest
think
was
about
up to you.
Kayla came, because I'm like, Kayla came, my daughter, she came in 2016 through, I believe, the NowCap program. And
Mhm.
that was traumatizing for her. I mean, and one, she was coming to Zaragoza, but at least they had some communities and she was able to start like there was like some Facebook groups for the auxiliaries
Yeah.
in Zaragoza to start, but you were like, we didn't have none of that.
Yeah, the Madrid group, that I'm now one of the admins for, that was the only resource really that we had. We had that one and another one that changed like every year. It changed its name by the year. Now it's just the big Auxiliar Spain group. But
Okay.
otherwise that was that you had two Facebook groups and a dream. So
Okay. You guys, I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking around, so because I'm like, I don't see any chats, and you know what, maybe y'all may not feel like it, but I don't know if it's not working or if because I see the live chat, but I'm like, usually I have some people saying something. So that's my concern and why I'm looking like where they at. So please do just let me know if it's working. And if y'all just don't feel like talking right now, we will continue. Yeah, because
that's
I'm
valid
hoping,
too.
but I just want to make sure that everything is like there's no technical issues going on. So that's my only concern.
Right.
So you were with your like, so what was the take as far as like your family when you know you were like, and I'm leaving, I'm going to another country?
Um it was a mixture of what took you so long because I've wanted to travel since I was a child. And it's so funny when people are like, "Oh, why did you leave the US?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding? I've wanted to leave since I was a kid." Uh, and I studied theater, Shakespearean theater and performance. And so my entire goal, like my life plan was to end up in England. I just knew I was going to England. And then
Oh,
Spain happened. So, and when I said, "Oh, I'm going to Spain to teach English." And I remember my aunt saying, "Well, you can't teach English here?" And I was like, "No, I don't feel like catching a bullet." Uh, she wasn't the
yeah.
biggest fan of that answer, but it is what it is. But there was mostly no one was really surprised. The last time my sister was here, she even said to my friends when we went to dinner, and she said, "We knew once she got on the plane, she was never coming back."
Yep. Yep. That was the most painful thing when Kayla left. One of my best friends says, you know, that she's gonna go over there and meet this guy and you know have the love of her life and never come back. And I just wanted to curse. I was like, bitch, what? How dare you say that? And that's like what happened. And you know, years later, I moved over here. So yeah, everything's worked out the way it's supposed to. This is the path. This is the journey. Yes, I'm very thankful. So I want to tell you guys how I met Khephra. Okay, so me, I think it was 2022. I believe it was 2022.
Probably. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
because
trying to think.
I was still doing shows then.
So maybe it was 2021 or so, because it's like, so anyways, what happened was me being me, I had went to Madrid for a couple, no, it was 2022, because I had come back a few months later, I believe. I'm just making up all kinds of stories.
Okay.
Girl, we met. Anyways.
You met?
Yeah, we met and stuff. But I had found out about Melon in Madrid, and I think I just posted to see what was going on, and Khephra said that she was going to be performing at she has a comedy show. She's like, come on out, and I was like, okay, I'm coming on out. So it was a little small coffee shop, and I walked around and got lost around. You know, I was in Central. It's in the Central. That was in Lava Pies, correct? Or La
La
Latina?
Latina.
Okay, yeah. And I went over there and we met, and she got up and she did her thing, and it was like she's a comedian and she put on this show for in this small little cafe, and I was like, I like her because it was the English, like the comedy show was in English. Okay.
Yes.
But I just was like, I am liking the vibe. I was finding these little pots or clusters of people that I was
Mhm.
like, I'm connecting. And the group, I mean, it was the show that you put on, it was in English, but
Yes.
it wasn't expats. It wasn't just a bunch of expats there. It was a
No.
very nice mixture of people that were there. And yeah, that's where we first met. And then I think I came back another time, and then we all like four of us went out to that Chinese place that had some real, oh God, food was so good.
They
And
said
I
Vitas,
every
yeah.
time I would come to Madrid, I would be like, I got to see about seeing Khephra, and then I started meeting more people, and then what was that? It was 2023. That was 2023 when I saw Khephra perform, and I got the big idea that I can do what she does. I can be a comedian too. That was like some long lost secret dream that I didn't even know, but I saw other people doing it, honing their skills, and I was like, I can do it, girl. So she said, okay. Khephra said, okay. That was in, what is it, beginning of May or the beginning of April, somewhere. So when you said, okay, I'll book you 6 weeks, I'll give you 5 minutes. In 6
Yep.
weeks, or was it 3 or 5 minutes? Whatever it was, it seemed like it was 20 minutes.
5. I don't give less than 5. I always thought that was insulting.
I wish it would have been 3. I was so nervous. Oh my goodness. So she said, I will give you, come back. And, I think it was like maybe 6 weeks. She said, come back and stuff. So I worked on my material. I was like, okay, this is funny. I'm going to talk about this. And, I went back to Madrid. I was sick as a dog. I was so sick. I got sick, some kind of food poisoning. I was so thankful that, because I was sick before I came. And I was like, this is a perfect reason not to go, because I'm literally sick. I was really sick. And I was like, Yolanda, you got to do it. You got to, girl. So one of the other women in the group from, I can't remember, I think it's the Girl Gone International group, Jane, she let me have her apartment. She was traveling, and she said, well, you could just have my 1-bedroom apartment while I'm off traveling.
That's sweet.
And she had such a gorgeous 1-bedroom that had a beautiful view of the city. Anyway, so I'm there, and thank goodness, nobody was there. It was just me. And that, like a few hours before, because I was really praying, I was like, God, I'm doing this. Please don't let me get sick in front of these people. So I started feeling better, and I went, and I was the first person up. I think I was the first person up. And now Khephra will say, oh, girl, yeah, you did. Sucked. There's a skill set. There's a special skill set that it takes to do comedy and to do it so flawlessly. And and Khephra has that down. I do not. Okay. Funny stories, but also I'm very expressive. So it looked like I was going to fly away the whole time that I was talking. And so when I went back, because it was recorded on my phone, and my daughters were like, I really want to see this, make sure you send us the recording. And I saw myself, and I sent it to my daughters, and I like said, you have 24 hours to watch this. After that, it's being deleted forever. And that's what I did. But I stepped into that fear, and I overcame, and I never want to do it again. But thank you so much for that opportunity to allow me to live that little dream of a dream, and and do that. How did you get into comedy? What was your first time like?
My first time was actually, it's funny because I did not delete my first time. And I have always loved comedy. I've always loved making people laugh, and it's always been, my mom would say that they would find me like listening to records. Yes, I'm records old, y'all. And they had everything on vinyl. Mm-hmm. So like Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, I was 5. Moms Mabley, Red Fox, Robin Harris, George Carlin, Robin Williams. We had everything on vinyl. And my mom said that they would just find me with my little headphones on, plugged into the record player, just and I would get these books of terrible jokes and torture my entire family on road trips by reading them out, all the corniest corny jokes you could possibly find. And I was always fascinated by that. What's funny is I heard for most of my life, like, oh, you're really funny, you should try stand-up. But I honestly didn't have the guts to do it. And then 8 years ago, maybe 9, I was at a Friendsgiving dinner with a woman, Claire Jones. They had a show called Stand Up Yours, which is still so genius. I'm mad I didn't come up with it myself. And I was there to meet my friend, and she was her roommate. And she just said, "You're really funny." And I said, "Thanks. I get that a lot. I'm not known for my humility." And she said, "I run a stand up show. And if I booked you, would you perform?" And I actually was like, "Yeah, sure." Like, what is there to be afraid of now? I've already left my country, moved to a different continent, like I don't have much holding me back. And if I tank, fuck it. No one here really knows me. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. And it's the reason I do what I did to you. I'm just like, their policy was always newbies go first, newbies get 5 minutes, don't die,
Yeah.
go. And
Yeah.
so I do the same.
And you know what? Again, thank you for that. I remember thinking to myself when I was like doing it, I was like, well, I'm here in Spain, I'm in Madrid. If I bomb, nobody's going to know. I have the evidence. And it's still out there. I mean, I still have it like stored away someplace, but it's nothing that I'm going to be sharing. But as far as when I tell the story, you guys who are listening now, I was freaking hilarious. I got a standing ovation. They were like, we want more. That's the story. You can't prove anything different. So yeah, it was great. It was great. So okay, when did you start doing the plays or doing your acting in Spain? How did that come about?
Um, so in 2021, so like I said, I studied theater, and but when I came to Madrid, I got into stand up. And so I became so focused on that because I'd always wanted to do it. And then I turned out to not suck at it. And then suddenly at that point, I'm running my own show. I'm running Dark Roast. And I kind of, theater fell by the wayside. And I remember talking to someone and I said, "Oh, yeah, this play, we went to see a play called Betrayal by Harold Pinter, and we went to see it in Spanish." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I did this play in college." And someone said, "Oh, you act? You were an actress?" And I said, "No, I am an actress." And they were like, "Well, have you done anything?" And the truth was I hadn't. I did a micro theater. They have that here, micro theaters, like 15-minute plays. It's super
Mm-hmm.
cool. So my
Oh,
friend Tom Morgan wrote a micro theater play, and I was in it, but I hadn't done anything since. And so it became where it's funny because in New Orleans, everyone knows me for theater, but not for comedy.
mm-hmm.
I, but here, everyone knows me for comedy and not theater. And I
Wow.
realized I love theater. I always have, like, it's my freaking degree. So I missed it desperately. And the one play I loved that got me into Shakespeare, that got made that my major and everything, was Macbeth. I've always loved Macbeth. Um, and this a theater company, English Theater Madrid, was casting for Macbeth. And so I shot my shot because I was saying, even if I don't get cast, I tried. And I tried and I
You know,
got cast.
that's what matters. That I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to get the part too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But you have to go through, you know, anything in life, you're gonna have to go through some rejections and some journeys before you get to that point. I don't know how
Mhm.
easy it was for yourself to get to, once you stuck your foot in there, they were like, "We love you."
It is very much a fake it until you make it. And one of the greatest things, like my theater teacher, Chris Lamort, he told us on day one of Acting 101, very first class, he said, "Get used to hearing the word no,
Mhm.
because you're going to hear it a lot. Embrace it, run towards it, make your peace with it. Because if you want to be an actor, you're going to hear the word no a lot." So if you can't handle that, if you don't want to hear no, maybe acting isn't for you.
Wow. Okay. And
And
you know,
always
it's
remember
true. True. So what do they say? I forgot, what is that? This, what is this thing about, you know, you have to go through so many failures. It's like that's you succeeding. That's just your journey. It's like, but if you don't try at all, you're never going to get that
you already failed.
yeah, you're never going to get somebody that's going to be like, yes, we want you, if you never try at all.
Yeah.
Yes. I said, well, that's great. Wow. So you've been here now, well, I guess over 10 years now. Was this coming on 12 years now?
Yeah, coming on 12. December will make 12.
So besides there not being, you know, the biggest support, you know, Facebook groups or whatever, when you first came in here, what was one of the other big things that you're like, that was challenging then, but I made it, of moving here?
Ooh,
She's like, girl, that was so long and so much.
there was a lot. I always tell people, you gotta want it. You gotta want this. What was okay, here's a good one. Immigration. Because dear God in heaven, I used to have panic attacks trying to deal with immigration, the paperwork, especially, you know, like I said, when you come here, you're originally placed and you come here in September with NowCap. And with Beta, that's the private Catholic school one. You have orientation. So at orientation, they usually help with some of the paperwork and things like that to get the process started. I didn't have that because I was placed late. So when everyone else came here in September, I didn't come until December.
Okay.
So Khephra didn't get orientation. Khephra didn't get the tax forms. Khephra got nothing.
You
I had to make it work. I had to figure out everything. My roommate at the time helped me, but yeah, I literally went tagged along at her immigration appointment because I didn't know what I was doing.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And now, you know, it's like, again, I actually, your friend at one of the comedy shows, after the Melon in Madrid picnic, your friend at your comedy show, I think that night, was the one that told me about Carlos, the attorney that I ended up going through. And that has just been a wonderful godsend, that I tout his name to everybody, because I don't think I would have made any steps had it not for somebody holding my hand the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely required and necessary. And even with, you know, my daughter, you know, giving me insight or whatever stuff, I still was like, no, I need Carlos. I need this attorney to walk me through. I need him to hold my hand. And if it wasn't for the fact that he was such a good, you know, good at what he does, I think I'd still be in Texas or in Mexico at this point. Okay.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, there are step-by-step guides and things you can find online now. There's a lot of research. And that's what's so funny. So yeah, immigration, lost, panic, completely gone. But I applied for what's called larga duración, long-term stay, the step before permanent residency. And I applied for that. And I remember doing that, getting approved after 8 fucking months, a long time. Not bitter, just saying, going, because you will wait.
That one, and I don't know if it has a new name from. It's called, what is it called again?
Larga duración, basically large duration, like long duration. It's permanent residency right before that. It's the step before permanent residency. Basically, I'm here for 10 years. It's good for 10 years.
Okay.
And
so your first one, so your first visa was for how long? It was for
my first
year?
visa, okay. When you come here, it's a year because you're on the student visa.
Okay.
I met my now ex-wife, and we did a process called pareja de hecho. The best way I describe it is marriage light.
Yeah.
Half the calories, still get residency. So we did the pareja de hecho, and I got my residency. And when we split the residency, because I'd been here a certain amount of time, a long time. So the residency was put in my name in my own right. I no longer
Okay.
needed a sponsor. And so I was given the residency was mine. And
Okay.
then when I renewed it, after 5 years, it was good for 5 years. So when I renewed it this last time, that was the 10-year renewal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to get my card again in 2 years, but excuse me, the long-term duration itself is for 10 years.
Okay.
And when I went through all of that, got approved, 8 months of sweating, waiting, and I went to Aluche, which is the immigration here, where dreams go that die. Um, it looks like a prison because it is a prison. Ha
Oh
ha.
wow.
Multitasking, get into it. So I went there, and I remember the first time I went with my roommate in 2013. And then I was literally back there again 10 years later. And I just remember, getting my fingerprints done, applying for the card, getting my picture taken and all that. And just sitting there completely calm and relaxed, like, what was I so afraid of? Back then, I
Yeah.
was so scared. Everyone's terrified to go to Aluche. I damn near sea walked in there. I was like, what was I so afraid of? I was so relaxed. I was just so chill. And I'm like, wow, this place terrified me 10 years ago.
You know, when
And then,
so I had to go to the police station, like here, the one just like there's a place like that here in Zaragoza, police station where you go. So once I got approved and then got my NIE number, I had to go get the TIE card. And
uh-huh.
I remember Kayla, I guess, had PTSD from her last renewal process and going there. And she was just like, so you're going to be there, it could be hours and hours and everything. And like the tension in her body was very, like, you could just see it, just her tension and the idea of coming with me, because I don't speak enough Spanish to like go there by myself. So
Yeah.
she went with me and we were in and out in 45 minutes. I mean, yeah, it was like I got the number, sat down, and I was like, okay. So when the lady called us up, or my number got called. Which the crazy
Mhm.
thing is, if the one in Zaragoza, there's no number sequence. It's like,
Yeah.
so you don't know if you're coming up next, okay, at all. And so we went up, and like I had like 9 pieces of document. The lady that was taking the paperwork took like maybe 3 pieces of the documents.
Mhm.
And she was like, and stamp, and goodbye. Come back. Come back basically when your card is ready. And that was it. And Kayla was just like, you could just see like she was like so confused
What had
as
just
to why
happened?
this was so easy. And she's still scarred. And she was doing her 10-year renewal back in this is about a year ago. She was like,
Wow.
this is
Yeah.
horrible. So I'm
It's
thankful.
wild because I mean, I have shit in triplicate. Okay. I have stuff they didn't even ask for. Because it's so hard to get an appointment that,
Mm-hmm.
and if you get sent away, like you're fucked and you have to start all over again. I was so impressed when you said you had numbers because, wow, what's that like? Can't relate.
Oh
I went to
wow.
one place. I went to another immigration office, and legit, you were in a room that had a screen for the numbers, and it was off, and you just had to say, like sometimes at the market, the butcher, anywhere, they don't even really give out numbers in a lot of places, and you just say, "Quién es el última?" Who's the last one?
Yeah.
At immigration, "Quién es el última?" And so it was like, "Aquí." I'm like, "All right, dope." And you remember though, it was wild. Even at immigration, you're like, okay, he's
Yeah, because you're
next.
not gonna be missed. You'll be like, I'm not gonna get missed. No. Okay.
And they just come in siguiente, and someone's like, yo, and then they leave. I was just like,
I'm sorry, the US, that would have been a whole fight. I'm sorry.
I
That would have been
know, like this immigration, y'all don't have numbers, but it's the honor system, and nobody messes with it. It's
yeah.
wild.
Man.
I
Okay. Well,
love that.
I mean, I have my 5 years, so I'm gonna do my best and stay on my P's and Q's so I can get my 10
Enjoy it.
year. Yes, I'm just like,
Enjoy it.
thank you. Thank you. So I have to say, I'm putting your business out here, and you said it was okay because you're about to do you're doing your first stage managing. Is this your first time?
No.
Oh, okay. So here's the deal. Let me just go and give some context. Okay. So Khephra is one, and actually, let me just go and do the plug right now while we're talking about it. Okay. So come April, we're having I'm actually having like a whole like spring in Spain meetup and everything where you do like 3 days in Madrid and then 3 days in Zaragoza and just hanging out and having fun. And since Melanin Madrid, the picnic from 2023 is what inspired me and made me say I got to move to Madrid. We're having another picnic on April 13th. And so if you're interested in attending the picnic, make sure you're either joining Melanin Madrid, the Facebook group, or Black in Zaragoza, the Facebook group. And then you will be able to get information about the upcoming event in April for the big picnic for Melanin Madrid picnic. I'm really excited about that. There was something else. So anyways, I was like, what was I talking about? Why did I bring that up? So please do. Thank you. But I was so excited to be working with Khephra on this and collaborating with Khephra because she's like, yes, girl, I got this and everything. And then she just found out that she's actually going to be a stage manager for an upcoming play. And is that the opening night or closing night that's actually on the same day of the picnic? Okay.
The picnic, is that the 13th? What's that, a Saturday?
It's a Sunday.
Okay, so yeah, it's closing night.
Yeah, okay.
And we have 2 shows.
Okay, so what does a stage manager do? I'm just like, what does that entail? Because I mean, are you going around telling everybody to get in places? What is
So fun fact, I said it's when you asked, is this your first time? I was like, no, I didn't mean it like that way. No, I was a stage manager in uni. That's when I started. And then when I graduated, I got hired by the university to stage manage their ballets and dance shows. So I was basically a professional stage manager for a while. So what a stage manager does is literally everything. And I'm going to be less vague, but that's how you start. So the stage manager handles everything and I do I call the show. I tell the lights when to go on. I tell the curtain when to open. I tell the music when to start. I tell the actors when to go, when to get into place. And basically you handle and control everything. But I have to make sure the props are where they're supposed to be. I have to make sure the costumes are where there are different people doing this, but it's like herding cats. I have to move the furniture. I have to move the furniture. I have to set everything, make sure it goes where it should be. I have to clean the stage before everything comes in. I'm the first one in and the first one out because I have to handle everything and make sure everything is right so everyone around me can do their jobs.
Okay. Wow. So, I mean, I guess you can go ahead and miss the picnic for that because that sounds kind of important.
Well, I'm in the theater company. The theater company is called the Madrid Players, and I've been with them for a while. I'm actually on the committee now as well. And this is our 60th anniversary. And so this is kind of like the big play for the 60th anniversary. And like I said earlier, I studied Shakespeare. That's my degree is in.
What is the performance the play is?
We're doing A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Okay.
And so I auditioned. Oh, see, there you go. I auditioned. I did not get cast. But when I heard they were looking for a stage manager and the stage manager position came open, I was like, yo, that's my way to be involved in the Shakespeare and still be able to be a part of it.
Well, for the people that are visiting, how long is it running? How long is
we're going to be doing 3 or 4 days.
Okay. Well, if you can't plop that, send the private chat to the link so I could actually put it in the description. All of her social media information is in the description, but if there's a specific link for that so people can know.
There is.
Yeah, you're coming to Madrid and you want to be able to have a different experience and enjoy a good play. Is it in Spanish or is it, well, I mean, I don't know how that works.
It's in English. The Madrid Players is an English-speaking theater troupe.
That's right. Okay. And the reason I have to ask because, like, for my birthday, we went to see Chicago. They had a Chicago here, and it was really cool. So Kayla had never seen Chicago. I had seen, the
Cool.
movie several times. So I knew like
Yeah.
all the songs and the whole premise, but I didn't understand, but it was in Spanish.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was just a really cool experience to share with her. But yeah, overall, I was like, I don't know what they saying. I think that's the storyline.
See, that's funny because, well, okay, theater student, theater nerd that I am, especially musicals. Um,
Mhm.
I love going to the plays here. Like I went to Chicago the week they opened
Oh,
because,
okay.
yeah, I know it like the back of my hand. So I like seeing how they change the
Hmm.
wordplay that they do to keep it making sense, keep it on topic, and make it rhyme,
Yeah.
because yeah, I like to see how they tweak the words and change the meanings to see to make it still make sense, but for a Spanish audience.
Yep. So what I did was because I remember there were certain parts when I saw the actual performance, and I was like, that didn't happen in the movie. Okay. So then like the next week I was at home and I was like, oh, let me go ahead and watch this again. I was like, oh, it did happen. That was part of the scene. Okay, okay. They got it.
Yeah, well, there's the musical came first, so there's
Mhm.
stuff out in it that didn't make it to the movie. Like there's this
Yeah.
great duet with Mama Morton and Velma,
Yes.
and
Yes.
yeah, and I especially love that because another member of the players and I did it as a duet last year together. We did it last spring, and so I have a special place for it. But it's not in the movie, and it should be because it's fantastic. But it's little
The,
things like that
oh,
that
a
they cut
duet
out
with
from.
Mama. I know. Okay, the duet. There's no duet in the movie.
Right. It's
I
in
do.
the
I
it's
just
in
remember
like the
the.
deleted scenes. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Class.
Oh, okay. So here's the funny thing about me seeing that musical also because everybody, again, I never went to the original musical like in the US. I just saw the movie. So
Mhm.
I can relate and I saw the characters and everything except for Mama. Mama, when she sings the song, all I was seeing was Queen Latifah, and I was like, this chick ain't this,
Absolutely.
this ain't working.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, there is no other. We stand a
Yeah,
queen.
I
Absolutely.
couldn't feel it. I was like, girl, I know you're trying, but I don't see that rhythm, that soul just emulating from your body. Nope, couldn't do
Oh,
it.
that's one
Okay.
thing I watched that whole thing just like, why am I not up there? I would have brought this motherfucker down. Why am I not up there?
And right now I'm looking because I want to find that picture. So what you did do was you just were in what was that little performance?
Little
You were
Mermaid.
in The Little Mermaid and you were
I was
Elsa?
Ursula, baby.
Ursula. I'm like, I've never seen it. I've never seen it, but I have seen what you posted on social media, and I was trying to like, ooh, I don't know how to share my screen so I can actually post this so people can see. Baby, you were in there. I
I
loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's
I
just
loved it.
how long did that show run? Little Mermaid, how long
We
did that
only
run?
did 5 shows,
Okay.
so a weekend, but,
I'm trying to go into Melanie Madrid because I'm like, I want to post this picture. Okay.
it was magical.
Oh no.
I'm sure I have it on my phone.
Yes. We'll
It
get
it
it.
was
We'll okay, and stuff. It was just really cool and stuff. But yeah, if you go on Melanie Madrid, it's like I'm sure, yeah, it's on there. Just go look it up and everything. I might have to go in there and just like it. So when you join Melanie Madrid, you can just see it right away because it's a
I'll probably
requirement.
I'll probably bump it definitely, but,
There you go.
yeah, no, I that was such a fun show. That was
Girl,
such a fun show.
you are in character and just doing it all. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny because no humility at all. When we audition, on the audition sheets, they always say, like, what part are you interested in? And what part are you not interested in? And I wrote, for what part are you interested in? I wrote Ursula. And it said, what part are you not interested in? And I wrote anyone else.
She's like, no,
I am here for
it's
one reason.
so what? I'm gonna skip around here a little bit. So okay, so let me just ask this. Did you speak Spanish? Because I know your Spanish is on point now. You've been here, years. What was your Spanish like coming in, and what did you do to bring it up to the level that you're at now?
Oh Lord. That's me. It's my Spanish was not as good as I thought it was. First of all, it's there's a lot of stuff they don't teach you in a couple of semesters of Spanish. So my thing was, and cheat code. My grandfather was from Panama, so
Okay.
English was his second language. Like my family calls me Kefrita, and my issue was I could understand when I was being spoken to, but I didn't know how to answer. I never learned
Okay.
how to speak. And so for me, the biggest issue was talking. Because I remember when I first got here too, and the other cheat code was I was in a neighborhood in the north of Madrid, Barrio de Pilar, and no one really spoke English in Barrio del Pilar. And almost 12 years later, I don't know if anyone really does still. It's a working class, local, small neighborhood, and they don't need it. There are some English academies. I worked at one of them, and some of my friends work there, but the neighborhood is Spanish speaking, period.
Okay.
So I lived there and I worked in a village in the mountains, La Cabrera. It's about 80 miles outside of Madrid. And they have a mountain and a monastery, and they damn sure didn't speak English out there. Um, Once my teachers, the other professors went home, all four of them in the school, I was fucked. So I
It's like,
had to. What'd you say,
so what,
Dalton?
I'm just like curious, like what are some of the, like if you could remember like some words or whatever stuff that you really like, you're like, oh, I messed this word up so bad. Oh my gosh, I'm
Oh
sorry.
God. I talk about this actually in my set when I talk about when I first came to Madrid. And it's funny because it's a common one, I'm sure, that people make. So chicken, pollo, right? Pollo.
Mhm.
Um, so roasted chicken, pollo asado. So I went to a restaurant and I ordered pollo asada.
And that translates to,
Roasted dick.
okay. Okay.
Pollo is chicken. Polla is dick.
Okay. I think
So
I've said that
I
by
asked
accident.
the waiter for roasted dick,
Wait a like
and then
take
the
a turn.
cheeky motherfucker asked me if I really wanted it, and he
Yeah.
said he
Like,
could bring it
you
to
mean
me.
hot dick? What? Okay.
He was fine too. I should have said yes, but
Are you sure?
he was like, "You sure I can bring it to you? You want some? I can bring it to you." I was like dying of embarrassment, but also left like shit. He was kind of hot. I should go back there. Um, it's little things like that where you're just like dying of embarrassment, or cansada, which means tired, and casada, which means married. I cannot tell you how many people I told I was very married. Oh, I've been working all day. I'm so married. Because I kept saying casada. Ah, estoy muy casada.
Amazon. I told you Amazon was coming. I'm gonna put you in charge for just
Okay. Amazon shows up when you're not waiting for him. See, the thing is, Amazon takes all damn day. They know you've been home all day. And then at night, at like 10:58, they knock on the door. Amazon ain't loyal. They playing with your emotions. What's good, chat? How you doing? I'm like, look at me. I am your captain now. Ah, that's a good question. I would say I'm fluent now, yes. My problem is I don't use it like I should. And what I mean by that is my everything I do is English speaking. And that's a thing that happens too here. You'll have the expat bubble immigrants that people have. And my job is in English. My theater is in English. My comedy's in English. My singing, my music, everything's in English. And I have friends from around the world, but the common language, we're like the UN, but the common language is English. So I default, even in Spain, end up speaking it. Now, when I leave my home, especially, there are places, where I do have to speak Spanish, pretty much outside. My landlord doesn't speak Spanish. There's some folks at the metro. There's a lot of people around me that do not speak English. So I find that I have to learn. How long did it take after you move here to? Oh, I don't know. Um, I would say 2 to 3 years, two at the earliest, because like I said, it was kind of a cheat code. Not really fair, but I did it. It just happened where I ended up in environments where no one could speak to me. And so I was here for 2 years when I got my first apartment on my own, and my landlord didn't speak English. She probably still doesn't, honestly. The cable guy didn't speak English. The gas guy didn't speak English. No one spoke English. So I had to learn. And I remember my students, because I was an English teacher, and my students always said, what got you to start learning Spanish? And I said, I was hungry. I was hungry, and I went to the supermarket, and I didn't really know what to look for or what people were saying to me. And I used to go to the markets and just like kind of hide behind the abuelitas, behind the grandmothers, and I would listen to them order, and I would listen to what they said, and I would order the same thing or something similar. And that's how I learned what a kilo is, because metric system, folks, it's much bigger than you think. And I remember ordering like a kilo of chorizo, and this guy went, and I was like, oh shit. And I said, demasiado. I was like, that's too much. I live alone. And the people at the market started teaching me how to order things and how to ask for things, and what to, or like even when I ordered like beef, ground beef, because they, you go to the butcher's here, and the guy was like, do you want it run once or twice? And I was like, I don't know. And he said, what are you making it for? And I said, hamburgers. And he was like, okay, so you want that twice. And just little things like that, that helped me get the confidence to speak and be able to speak. And also liquor, lots and lots of liquor, copious amounts of liquor, liquid courage. Absolutely.
Oh
Yolanda.
Yeah.
I thought of another word that I got confused with that almost got me into some trouble. I said demasiado
versus
and despacio. Yeah.
Demasiado is, because you just said it just now. Demasiado is.
So I was saying demasiado. Demasiado means too much.
Okay.
But I got despacio, slower, and demasiado mixed up. So when people would talk, and especially in Madrid, they are rapid fire, vale? And I was like, actualmente no puede, vale? And I'm like, no vale. No vale.
I have said Bali, and I've agreed to like have a hitman come and take somebody out. I didn't even know, girl.
Vale.
Okay.
And so I would say, no, demasiado, por favor, demasiado. And I thought I was saying despacio. And one of my roommates was like, what are you trying to say? And I was like, slow down. Like, you talk really fast. I don't understand. They were like, okay, so that's despacio. And I was like, well, what does demasiado mean? And they were like, too much. Like, you're telling these people too much. Like,
it sounds like
you can just go away. You're too much. Oh my God.
It's too much. You're getting on my nerves.
Too much. Can you not? So, yeah. That's a good one.
Wow. Wow. So I wanted to jump over to, because I was talking earlier about me looking for a new apartment, and I know that you just moved into your new place.
Yep.
Yes.
That's why
What
you
was
can
that
see an exercise
like?
bike growing out of my head. Um, and some boxes conveniently located behind me because I have no I don't have a couch. My last apartment had storage and bookshelves and I do not have any of those, so I have to buy them.
Oh
And now I have
wow.
an
So
extra
yours is
bookcase
completely
that I
unfurnished, or was it
stand.
just partially unfurnished?
It was unfurnished. I think the only thing that I asked them to keep were some cubbies next to me, a long table, and then I have a table and 4 chairs, which was
Okay.
cool because I've never had a table and chairs, but now I don't have a couch. So
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. See, that's what I'm
one
scared of,
thing
because I am very pleased, because at first I was like, I don't want to like have a bed. I want a new bed. But you know what? And plus the beds are very personal, because them beds don't be soft. They don't be comfortable. Girl,
girl.
oh my gosh. So I was concerned when I moved here, but moved into this place, and it had the bed, and then I got like some toppers and everything, and the bed is actually quite comfortable. The couch is what I'm
Mhm.
like, the couch is okay, but I still want a new one. But I'm so scared about that process of getting like something that really suits me, or moving into a place that already has a bed that you can't, there's no fixing. It's just uncomfortable and you just have to deal with it for the next year or so until.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I hold up. The other thing is, a lot of places, especially like here in Zaragoza, if it comes furnished, you don't have an option to be like, well, I don't want this, this, and that. They're like, no, you're gonna take it, all the ugly furniture.
Yeah. They're like, "We don't care what you want.
Yeah,
Sign here."
girl. So do you have a bed yet, or did it come with a bed, or you brought a bed?
Well, it's funny that you said that because I lucked out with this place, and actually, I told them that they could get rid of the bed.
Oh, okay.
I was like, because it had a bed, um, it had a couple of things,
Okay.
but I said I have my own bed, and is a nice bed. I and it was only 6 months old, maybe a year old,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, and it's just what you were saying you didn't have. It's a nice, thick, pillowy, memory foamy mattress. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that I got it for it was a fucking steal too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Also, fuck my ex landlord. I didn't want them to keep shit, so
Oh, okay, yeah.
it
That's
was
right, because
definitely.
you went through all kinds of hell with that landlord. Yeah,
Technically
because they were
still
trying to
am.
screw you over and make you like leave and renounce the lease or whatever it was and all that
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah, you had to get an attorney involved that like had to like
Absolutely
school
did.
them,
Mhm.
because they will assume as an expat or immigrant that you're not, since it's in Spanish, you're just going to sign and not really know what's going on.
Yep, that's why I
And
always say know your rights. You have rights and you need to know your rights. And one thing that, especially things like that, we don't learn things like that when moving to another country, or, and it's no one's fault.
yeah,
There are just some things you learn by doing, or you learn when you get here. Back then, especially the NALCAP program, the language assistance programs, it was supposed to be a gap year thing where you're here for a few years and then you go back home and, in your golden years, look fondly on your semester in Spain or some shit. But when you
now,
stay,
yeah,
they don't expect you to stay. And so we're foreign. Where a lot of us are from the US or English speaking countries, where especially we make more money in parts of the US. I didn't make shit personally, but other folks come here with, some money to burn.
yeah,
And they see you coming a mile away and they're like, this foreigner don't know shit. I'm going to charge him 3 times as much for a 1 bedroom. And because it's the size of it's the price of a closet in New York City, but it's a 1 bedroom apartment here. Yeah, dummy, give me your money. Come on.
yeah.
And because people don't know better, they don't know what the prices are, the market, things like that. And so they just And especially in October, September, all the language assistants and students come here to Madrid, especially at the same time.
Yeah.
So the NowCap program alone has like 2 to 3,000 people in Madrid, maybe four. It's getting bigger with each year. So you have, say, 4,000 people on top of the students, the workers, other people moving here, just at the same time, and they're all looking for housing. It's the housing
Mhm.
Hunger Games. I say that every year.
Yeah. And that's, you know what, I'm so thankful when I got my apartment that I'm in now, literally, and you know, my daughter had told me this. She was like, let them know now. And because they're going to have a lot of the auxiliaries that are actually leaving. And so they're going to have their apartments available. So even now with me looking for another one, I'm like, I don't want to move until May, because I'm going to be doing too much in April, but I want to, do this in May, maybe June at the latest, because I know that I'm going to be able to find, I believe I'm going to be able to find what I need, and specifically because the auxiliaries are actually leaving. I'm not going to be looking for no apartment come September.
Mm-mm.
October, no, no, no,
Mm.
no. No, I want to be
Mm-mm.
settled. Okay.
Don't do that to yourself.
Was it easy? How did you find this place?
I lucked out. I was literally just going to say that. I lucked out with this place. My friend has lived here for 10 years.
Okay.
Um, and he moved into another place with his partner. And since I was looking, he told his landlord about me. The landlord met me for coffee. We had a coffee up the street, and
Mm-hmm.
legit within 20 minutes, he said, "Okay, send me." It sounds so shady when you hear it, but that's also another thing about how some things are in Spain. I met this guy. I talked to him for 20 minutes. He was like, "Okay, send me send me a picture of your identity card and your passport, and I'm going to drop the contract."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Handshake, word is bond,
Yep.
and it
Yep.
was. He was like, "I like
You
you.
know,
You're my friend told me about you. You already have his word. Like, yeah, you're cool. I'll have the contract ready in 2 weeks. All right, take care." And he paid for my coffee.
yes, yes. See, this is okay. So this is where I'm having my issue, like right now, because the apartments that I went to go look at yesterday, they're updating them, they're renovating them. It was 3 different units. One was done. No, 2 were done. One of them said it was a 2-bedroom, but it looked like just 3 bedrooms. It was really weird. Anyways, my problem is it's a business. It's not an individual that owns the property, and I
Mm,
am completely turned off. And the apartments were nice, but I am so turned off about the business aspect coming from it. Like it's a company that's renting it out and not an individual.
yeah,
Because they're
it's a
like,
big
well,
problem here,
you
right?
send your information and stuff, we'll run it through the. I'm like, I kind of like how this one came about.
Mhm.
We had coffee, we met for coffee. Then a week later, we came and looked at the apartment. The other girl that was actually renting, the other young lady that was renting this apartment was also within the Girl Gone International group. She knew my daughter. We were like, hey girl, hey,
Yeah,
And then was like, okay. She's like, send me your proof of income. Because at that time I was still like brand new. I was like, I got income, I got cash. She was like, okay, and done. Let's sign this contract. Yeah. I like that personal touch,
yes,
that
yeah.
personal, like your family now.
Mhm.
Like we're here. Yeah. It's like you pay your rent on time. I got you. Any maintenance issues that have come up is very easy. But I don't know. I didn't like that feeling. I didn't get that vibe yesterday when I was like looking at these,
Yeah.
property owners of like with corporations. I was like,
I don't
I don't
deal
know.
with them. I've never dealt with an agency. I don't know, but it's fun. I felt so bad because I started my new job in September, and a lot of people moved here, and they were having trouble finding a place. We just got a new employee who just moved to the country 2 weeks ago, and he already has an apartment. He had an apartment when he moved, and people said,
Mm,
like, "How did you find your place?" And he said, "I went on Idealista, which is the local, like the most
mhm,
popular rental site here." And he said, "I used 2 filters. I filtered out, well, 3. I filtered out the neighborhood. I have a cat, so I looked for places that took pets, and I have a
mhm.
car, so I filtered for a place that had a garage." And he said, and that went down from like 80 people to 4 or 5 apartments. He said, I saw one I liked. I messaged the owner. She responded right away. And a week later, I had keys in hand, cat in the carrier. And I was just like, yeah.
Yep.
So that's something else. This is good advice. If you're here and you're looking for apartments, you want to look for particulares. I'm going to write it in the chat.
Okay. I'm like, what's this?
When you see an ad and it says particular, that means it's from the owner, the property owner.
Okay.
They'll have agencia, agency, or particular. So you want apartments that are rented by the particular, and they have to say agencia or particular, and it'll say particular. That's how you know you're dealing directly with the owner. Unless they're a scammer, that's different. But it helps you filter it out. The particular is the owner, and that's how you know you're dealing directly with the actual person.
Now, at Idealista, what I do is I just like take the whole thing and change the screen to English, so it says whether it's private owner. Yeah, because I just changed it to English and stuff. So, because I mean, this is good to know.
That's where my mind is too, is because when I moved here, Idealista was not available in English.
Mm-hmm.
There was no English here. Y'all have it so easy now. I'm going to be the finger wagging guy. Back in my day when I first moved here, the metro, the airport, the metro had no signs in English. It had an arrow pointing. And if you didn't know what salida meant, it means exit. You had to follow the stick man running. The airport. My first day in Spain, I went to information, and the first thing the woman said was, "My English is not good." I was like, "This information, damn, at the airport." I just landed, and they were like, "Welcome. We can't talk to you." So none of the announcements for the metro, the commuter trains, nothing was in English. I heard an ad in English in Lidl 2 months ago and almost fainted because I've just never heard that.
Wow. Lidl is a little grocery store. It's like what is Lidl? It's like it's a grocery store, but it's like
it's a grocery store.
It's like a Trader Joe's almost.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like the German Trader Joe's, if you will.
There you go.
But yeah, there's no English in a lot of these places. You're just not going to hear it. And so that's something like that I forget, because and yes, I do speak Spanish now. So I speak Spanish. I automatically just read Idealista in Spanish. But back when I got here,
everything, all my technology, like my web browsers, they tell me like, "Girl, what you trying to do? You know you don't speak Spanish," and it automatically translates over to English.
Translates for you. You poor child, let me help you out. No, you cannot do this right now. But yeah, back then, a lot of these websites, there was no English option. There just wasn't.
I do appreciate how much technology has grown, and just to help enhance this experience, because and had it not been there, of course, I would have figured it out. But I'm glad I don't have to as much. Thank you very much. I wanted to go and just touch with you on a couple of things, like as far as your healthcare experiences, like what has that been like? I guess then versus now. How is the quality, the availability, the ease of using the healthcare system or private insurance been for you?
So in the language assistant programs, they provide you with insurance. With private insurance, which was awesome, because in the US, I never had insurance in my life. I just hope to not die the entire time. Yeah. Wishes, prayers, tots and pairs. And so it was really good, actually. I had bronchitis more than once. I've had stomach flu a few times. And especially with the private healthcare insurance, they have apps now too. So you can book someone really quickly. When I tore my meniscus.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Mm-hmm. Who do you have?
Doctor, it's like a top doc thing where you can find a doctor that you need. Dr. Alia, yeah.
No.
I have my well woman's exam tomorrow in Madrid because I found an English speaking doctor in Madrid for well women, and I found it through
Word.
that
Okay.
private insurance. But yeah,
I
but
might
I'm
need
sorry,
that
go ahead.
contact.
Okay.
Um,
It's
yeah, I have Sanitas. And so
okay.
Sanitas has a great app where anything you need, literally, you can book something. Of course, popular doctors and times are harder to get to, but you can usually get, if I needed to see someone tonight, for example, if it was this morning, depending
Mhm.
on the clinic I went to, I could go to see someone tonight.
Okay.
A lot of the times. And when I tore my meniscus, I it flared up really bad. I didn't realize how hurt I was, and I couldn't walk. And they'll send a doctor to your house. They'll send a
Mhm.
doctor to your
Oh,
home. Yeah, no
okay. I
extra
thought that was
charge,
that's
nothing. It's covered.
okay.
So yeah, they sent a doctor to my house for the anti-inflammatory shot and everything. And then when they discovered that my meniscus was torn, and that's what the problem was, it went so fast you barely have time to process it because you hear how slowly things take, especially back home, from what I've heard. And he said, "Okay, meniscus torn. You're having surgery on the, let's say March 23rd, because I think it was March
Mhm.
23rd, March or April 23rd." And I said, "That's next week." And he said, "Yes, it is." Anyway, so I'm going to do your surgery. Like I had 5 days notice that I was going to have surgery
Wow. Yeah, and
just because of
I really do. I have DKV insurance, and I like it. I don't like. It's hard to find a English speaking. I have to call them to see if I can find an English speaking doctor. And sometimes they'll say that they speak English, and then I reach out to them. They're like, "No, really, I don't. I don't."
yeah.
They
That I
just say
was
that.
gonna say when you brought that up, that's something you have to look out for as well. And I have been livid because that was something that happened with my traumatologist with my knee. Is
Mhm,
I filtered out on the Sanitas app. Yes, I'm calling names, um,
mhm,
because you can filter out by language. And there was this man who was up the street from me, so I didn't have to hobble too far.
mhm,
And I got there and I'm talking down and he's practically cross-eyed and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I don't understand you." And I said,
"You wasted my time. What
"Yeah." I'm like,
why would you
I looked you
lie?"
up on the app. It says you speak English and French. And he said, "Oh no, I just write in English and French. I just answer emails and stuff in English and French. I can't actually I can't speak. I don't understand you." Um
That's
and I
okay.
was livid. I was so mad.
Oh yeah, I bet you were. I bet you were, girl. But yeah, and so I'm looking forward. I did check the reviews for this doctor that I am seeing. Like I have a general practitioner doctor here in Zaragoza that is nice,
Yeah,
and her English is so. We were able to communicate well enough, and we busted out. Google Translate is like okay, and
absolutely.
got my prescriptions filled. But for this one, I was like, I don't want to just. I want to find somebody with great reviews that I can communicate in English because I'm a woman of a certain age and I want to make sure that my hormones are just right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, looking out for those kind of things. It's important for me to have, good care. And then also, yeah, DKV is like, they contact me. They're like, you ain't used your insurance yet. Use it, girl. They will send me emails.
Yeah, Sanitas does the same thing because my employer has it. I've had it for a few months now, and Sanitas sends me emails like, "Sis, you good? Because
Yes. It's like,
your car hasn't
you
been
got the
used.
good stuff. Use it. Okay.
Just know this. We here whenever." Um, but I also have public health care, which is another
Mhm.
thing, and the public health care is great for my knee rehab and everything. They have been absolutely phenomenal. So it's interesting because, and that's the other thing is the public clinic, my GP is an 8-minute
Mhm.
walk from here. So
Okay.
yeah, like it's a 8-minute walk. It's up the street. So I do end up using the public system a lot because it's available, it's closer. But if
Hmm.
I want something faster, or for example, with my OBGYN and things like that, I I'm not the speak English person, but for medical issues, something that's going on with my body, I need to understand.
Yeah.
And so that is the one place that I will insist if we can do well, English and legal matters. Like I can
Yes.
handle myself, but if we
Be
talking
very
about the law
clear
or
on
my
that.
health, we speak in English, Jack. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do with you. But the public health care, it may be more difficult to find someone who speaks English.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've never tried. I I just kind of assume that no one speaks English. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it also makes me have to communicate and
Hmm.
discuss things. I look at everything as kind of like an exam, if you will. It's a
Hmm.
learning opportunity for me. I say the same thing at work. On my last job, I'm a copywriter, editor. Uh, I create content, and I'm a
Hmm.
content manager. We created all kinds of stuff, all kinds of content, advertisements, marketing in English. No one spoke English in our office, in our meetings, in our emails, text messages, smoke signals, carrier pigeons. Nothing was in English. Um, and I looked at it as it's like business English. People pay a lot of money to take business English classes.
Mm.
You can make 35 to 45 euro an hour if you're good enough teaching big business English. And so in my mindset was, I'm getting this for free. I'm getting free Spanish lessons in class in the office. It's immersion like no other. Some people pay a lot of money for immersion courses. I just got hired at this company.
Yeah.
So I just
You know
took
what,
it.
you actually put that in my mind. I was like, I had not even thought, and actually it was somebody else. I think Aqua Black Nomad had just, Kyoka had just interviewed a young lady, a couple that's in Albania. I think she was from Canada and she was living in Albania, and she actually got a job with, I guess, and I could be making this up, so if I'm wrong, but I think she got a job with an Albanian company, her like through LinkedIn, and it was
Mhm.
just like, you know what? As I'm doing different things, I never thought like find you a job here in Spain. I'm authorized, so I'm like, why not? Okay, find you, like I mean, it would be part like I don't want full time. I'm still like of the belief that I only need to be doing contract, temporary, or part time. That's it. I don't want to do anything else yet. My mind is still on that. Like this is what I want phase. I
Right.
want to ask you two more. Um, well, first of all, so overall, the healthcare, two thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. I wish I
Okay.
had more thumbs.
I wanted to check on two more things. One is I never asked this, and I realized what is the I don't know what your current relationship situation is, if you're flying solo or what. So, but how has the dating process been from when you first moved? I like to. You're a good a person to talk to, like from where it started and where we is. Okay, how has
Where
that changed for you?
I stopped dating.
Okay, I haven't started yet here. I went on one day here, so yeah, I said I was going to start. I need to start.
I have not dated since 2017.
Okay.
I think I deleted all of those stupid ass apps and everything. I was, I'm not even going to say involved. Let's not exaggerate, but I was sleeping with someone until about uh 2020.
Mhm.
And then I had an incredibly long dry streak, um, which was broken in September. But I have not, that was the first person I'd met in all of that time that I even wanted to allow to touch me. Um,
Yeah.
I like
To
living in
feel
my
that
peace.
energy, even like have the energy to be like, yeah, actually, yeah, that's the word, energy. Because sometimes I'm just like, I don't even feel like putting the energy out there right now because
More
I'm
trouble
in a
than
good
it's worth.
place. I don't want you to waste my time, even if
It's
it
more
is
trouble
for,
than it was worth, to be quite honest.
yeah,
I can only speak for myself.
yeah,
Um, Especially being black and dating in Spain. A
mm,
lot of people being black and being a foreigner as well. Because there's a lot of folks when people say, "Oh, go make Spanish friends, go meet local friends." Like, what are you going to shoot a fucking Spaniard in the neck with a trank dart and be like, "We're friends now"? Like, that's not how it fucking works. Shut up. Annoying. Um, the thing is, it's almost the same as if people came to the States. You have your friends, your groups, you grew up with your people, and it's hard to bring a new person. I think we're a lot more open with that because we love meeting people and scooping folks up, and
Yeah.
but here people have had the same friends group since they were 3. They met in
Okay.
fucking preschool, and rarely do they go outside the core friends group. You meet
See,
people for language exchanges, for coffee, for things like that,
yeah.
and then they go right the fuck home to their friends. And you were not one of them. Um,
It's, I don't, well, okay, so for me, because I think somebody had posted in some other group asking about how do you make like really like best friends. My mission is not to make best friends. That's not, now I'm, because I'm outgoing. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to connect with people. I really do enjoy doing that. Have I met my best life partner friend, like a life sister, like what I have back in the States? No, but I'm okay. But as far as dating, I'm not actively pursuing. I think I went on one app and I think 24 hours later I was like, oh, I don't feel like it. No, I don't feel like
grand opening, grand closing.
really grand opening, grand closing, done. I was like, but I said in 2025 I would like to. I don't know if I have the patience to really think about trying to date somebody. I do need my. I think it's time for me to get my roster back up though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd be okay with that. I have no
Yeah.
patience. I hate waiting. One great thing about being 45 is that you just understand. I recognize that I'm ill-tempered and irritable, and I have no patience. I do not, but I mean, even in my 20s, whatever, I don't suffer fools gladly. And
Mhm.
some people get in their feelings about that. Another thing about being a person of color here, dating wise, is the same thing about being a foreigner. You're a novelty, you're a party trick, and
Mhm.
some people look at you that way, where you're entertaining for a bit. You're like a kid with a new toy, or a kitten, that you buy them a toy, they bat it around for a little bit, and then they're pretty much done with you. I don't mean that in a bad way or an insulting way towards the other people, but for example, I ran into someone I dated when I first moved here in like 2014, 2015. I want to say
Mhm.
2014. Let's just say that. And he damn near walked into a pillar when he realized it was me. And he said, "What are you doing here?" Like, and I
Are you
said, "I
still
live."
here?
Yeah, I live here because they see a lot of people who are here as temporary. Like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
here for now, but you're not going to stay. Eventually, you're going to leave. Eventually, you're going to. So, why would I bother to make anything long term or whatever if you're going to go anyway? Not
Yeah.
realizing that maybe your ass could be the reason I stayed, stupid. But
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
very shocked to see me,
Wow.
like 8 years later, 9 years later. And I said, "I told you I wasn't going anywhere. Now, I told you I wasn't leaving. I told you I lived here. If you chose not to believe me, that's your motherfucking fault.
Yeah.
I don't tend to say
Off
shit
topic,
I
but on
believe."
topic. Just yesterday when I was looking at the apartment and the lady, because I'm looking at because I know my I have a 5-year residency. So yes, I would like to now that I'm settled here, I like to like maybe get a lease that's like, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
And when Kayla, my daughter, had explained that to the lady who didn't speak Spanish, she's like, well, she says that. It's like, you don't, I'm trying to get a deal because I know I'm moving, but that whole thing that she was just like, yeah, yeah, like
I
you don't
just
even know
say
my
that.
residency status. How you gonna just be like, well, she says that, but you never know? It's like I actually do know, pretty much. Knock on wood. Yeah, I'm gonna be here. Okay.
Yeah. It's my
Wow.
God,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so annoying. I completely understand. Yeah, I'm not dating. I'm single. I do have someone, the dry streak breaker, that I talk to pretty much every day, but that's
You're
we're
breaking
not
me as well.
dating.
That's what I call the
Wait,
break open in case of emergency. Okay.
no, he's a good friend. The thing is,
Oh, okay.
I met him in another country while I was traveling,
Okay.
and he lives very far away. We don't want to do long distance because that sucks.
Yeah.
And so,
I need my
but
immediate
no,
gratification, whether it's a hug or whatever. If I need, if I
exactly.
say I need a hug, I need to be able to be like, I need the hug like in the next 30 minutes or so, or sometime that day. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is someone like I didn't expect to be close to him. I didn't expect it to be a him, actually. That was a shock. And but this is someone that we talk literally we talk like every day pretty much. And
Oh,
I'm very, very fond of him. We're close. If one of us was closer to the other, if we were together in the same city, we would be dating. But
okay.
we're not. So
Okay. I get it. It's just so,
but
yeah,
I'm not looking for anything. I wasn't looking for
I'm
him, but
hoping
here he
like
is.
we shall see. Again, I might have another grand opening and grand closing all in 24 hours. We'll see. I don't know.
Okay,
Okay. But
Alianka. Oh, that's so beautiful.
hey, yeah, isn't her name beautiful? Yes, I love it. Hey,
Yes.
girl, I'm glad
Hey,
that
girl,
you made
hey.
it. One thing I did want to just touch on,
You can
and
ask me whatever you want, sugar.
thank you. I wanted to, well, yeah, we went, usually I go like an hour and 15 minutes, and sometimes it goes longer, and here we are, but it's good,
And here we
genuine
are.
conversation, so I'm loving every minute of it.
This is what I was doing tonight, so it's all good.
Thank you. Awesome. So I wanted to touch on something that a lot of people we talk about, but it's not really dug deep into as far as discussion. So I'm just going to give you my experience, and then you can share yours about family that you can't necessarily get back to when you really want to be there for them. So a week after I came to Spain last year, moved to Spain, got rid of everything. Um, a week after, 7 days exactly, my niece, who was in her 30s, had sickle cell and she passed away.
Oh, sugar.
And it was just, I mean, we knew that, I mean, tomorrow's not guaranteed to anybody, and nobody makes it out of
Uh,
here alive. Get that.
true.
But it was my niece who I really truly cared for, and I couldn't go back to pay my respects. And my sister-in-law, this is my sister-in-law, and she's my life sister, and and she understood completely. Yeah, there was no ill feelings, but it hurt me to
Of
know that that
course.
was like a week after I left, that somebody that I really loved is now gone, and I'm on the other side of the world and cannot do anything but grieve and just know that we had very good times together and positive experiences together before she went on, she passed away. What has that, being here for 13 years, excuse me, that's not 13 years, I'm sorry. Well, yeah.
No, let manifest that, sis, because that passport is going to be 13 years. It's
Yeah.
almost here.
Yes. I'm like, yeah,
It's so
so
close. I
being
can
here.
taste it. Oh my God.
Wow, yeah, 12 years, almost 13 years. So what has that been like for you to, for your family and maybe suffering and experiencing loss of loved ones back in the States? And how have you maneuvered that?
Um, it's hard. I mean, I know that sounds like the cover of Duh magazine. It's hard. It's not
Okay.
easy. Um, you have to accept the fact that this is the choice you made for your life and everything that comes with it. And I love this conversation because I'm willing to go places that no one will. And this is the kind of gritty, raw shit that I love. Because when people talking about moving abroad and living your best life, and it's always like, I don't know, some white women jumping off a cliff with their hands in the air, suspended in time. No one tells you about going home to bury your fucking mama like I
Mm-hmm.
did last year.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about several of your friends dying and you not even being able to make the funeral, or friends that die and you don't know what happened
Mm-hmm.
because all you saw is the obituary. People have been gone for a month or so and you're like, oh shit, what happened to so and so? And you look them up on Facebook, they did.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to process that on your time because you didn't even know they were gone.
Yeah.
Um, They don't talk about that. I have had to go home and bury my grandmother. I was lucky enough when my mother had her fourth and last stroke, and declined so rapidly up to her death. I was able to go home 3 times. I crossed the Atlantic Ocean 6 times in 3 months, to be with my mother at her side. The last time I was too late, but that's okay. She wouldn't have wanted me there, and at that point, she wasn't my mother anymore.
Mhm.
But people don't talk about that, the loss, the shock, the helplessness, because you were
Yeah.
literally an ocean away and there is nothing you can do. And that hurts. It
Yeah.
hurts. And you have to deal with your pain on this side of the ocean alone the best way you can. I am in a very lucky place where I have found my people. I have my family here.
Mhm.
Great guys, Samuel and Pedro, especially. I met them my 4th month in Spain, and they are my brothers. So I had a rock solid support system. Did it come overnight? No. Have they cussed me out a time or two? Yes. Did I deserve it? Absolutely. But your
Mhm.
people will tell you about yourself, and that's what you will find. And yeah, they've met my family. They've met my sisters, my nephews, my mother, and so they were grieving with me. But I had people to also support me and take care of me, especially when Mama died, and when my
Mhm.
grandmother died. So it's a thing where you're going to need what the resources, the people that you've met, that you had. And it's not easy to grieve from an ocean away,
Yeah.
but it is something that does make you call your friends, call your loved ones. And I don't mean that in like the Facebook post, check on your strong friends one that they put or some dumb shit like that. But you know, when I had a dear friend die, Christian, we called each other our heterosexual life mates. And he died the same year as Mama, and it broke my heart.
Mhm.
It broke my heart. Because every time I've gone home to New Orleans, he was there waiting for me, and he was waiting for a hug. And it really killed me that I went home, even for Mama, and he wasn't there. That was the hardest thing, thinking that when I went home, Christian would not be there. Uh, but I called my friends. We had a big ass group chat because we've known each other since the 90s. We old, okay?
Mhm.
1995 old school ravers. And we made a big like Zoom call, conference call, group chats, Facebook Messenger, and we just checked on each other. We did a Facebook Live where everyone popped in and out and we just talked. You know, we
Yeah.
have been friends since we were teenagers and now our ages end in orthy. And we're at that point where our parents are dying, we are
Mhm.
losing our elders, and being able to have those group chats, those group talks, and just people you haven't seen, even if you haven't seen their face in years, to hear their voices, to see their faces and their smiles, it brings you together with the people who mean something to you, even if you
Yeah.
just get to say, hey, you ain't shit, but I love you, right? You know that, right?
I know when my niece passed, she was a you know, she that year and a half before I moved to here to Spain, I was pet sitting. You know, I was just bopping around Texas and Mexico and all this stuff, pet sitting. And I had a pet sit in Houston, back in Houston. I was in California, and then I came back to Houston.
So,
I had like a 3 week pet sit in Houston at this one place. And my niece, there was a big sickle cell conference, you know, big thing that was going on, like you know, they had all the people, the expo and all that stuff, and she was
mhm.
very well known in that community. And so she came and she stayed with me for a couple of nights because I was really close to where the conference was. And so that, they were like having the parties. And I mean, I think I saw her like one day. Okay. Well, she was out, like doing her thing, but it was a landing
Hey, good
spot.
for her. Yeah.
But when she passed, again, I was here in Spain, but the community, the sickle cell community, they did some Zoom calls to specifically honor her. And her mom and I did not know, and her mom didn't know. Her mom knew that she was known in the community, but she didn't realize how far-reaching, her voice and her personality was to this whole community of other sickle cell warriors. And it was so beautiful and such a loving way to honor her passing. And I don't think I've actually cried, and I'm not going. Is that I don't think I ever actually cried over that one, because I didn't know where to put all that emotion. And somewhere in my mind, I was like, "Girl, you're not gonna cry about this. You can't." And I think somewhere, so there's a breakdown coming. Like, I don't know, maybe next week it may be, because I'm going to be actually interviewing her mom. Next week we're recording. I don't want to do that live. So I don't know, but there's some emotions that are put away someplace for me to deal with someday. I don't know when, about experiencing my first loss as somebody that's moved to another country and not be able to come back. And I think about, because I have some other family, I have family, we don't know when, our day will be, but I do have some older family members that sometimes when I get a call from one of my other family members, I'm like, oh Lord, is everything okay? It's just they kind of like sinking feeling for a split second. And then they're like, hey girl. And I'm like, oh, hey girl, what's up? Okay. How you doing? Everybody good? Yeah.
My family would text me. My mom would text me. Everyone would be like, call me. Nothing is wrong.
Yeah. You got to lead with that.
Okay? Yeah, you really should be like, oh God.
Yeah.
Because if I saw a missed call from my mom, I'm like, oh Jesus, what happened? So we would just be like, nothing wrong. Just call me.
Yeah, this is what I started. Hey, love, all is well. Just give me a call when you get a chance. Yes, let me know that this is light. It's like, I'm not gonna be like, let me know if I say, is everything okay? Respond right away. Don't wait 2 hours to let me know that everything is fine, because I'm creating a whole narrative in my brain.
Exactly. I'm booking flights. Like, don't play with me.
Yes, very much so. Well, Khephra, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening.
Everything.
And for wanting me to share.
And so it's important, just like you said, it's a beautiful opportunity. I'm so thankful that I am here in Spain. I am living a much better version of my life. I am so thankful that I, decided to take this journey and go along this path versus, some of the other options that I had staying in the US and just dealing with everything else. So I'm very thankful, but I always want to make sure that people know that it is not just a matter of, oh, you just leave and then everything is perfect in your world. That's not how it works. There's going to be challenges. The challenges is definitely dealing with the loss of loved ones.
And I always say, like, I am the queen of unpopular opinions in that way. Like, I say the shit that nobody wants to hear. I say the things that nobody really wants to talk about. I have no problem doing so because someone has to. It's not all rose-colored glasses. And I've never had a problem being the asshole or saying, the real shit. And, I'm sure I've been told to my face what I can do with my opinion. Not everyone likes me. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, so they don't have to drink it. And I'm sure my picture is lining some very nice bird cages and litter boxes. But I am an honest person, and I say the raw shit. I don't know any other way to be. And this is the stuff that people need to know before you make the decision to give up your life and everything in it. To go somewhere else. You have to live with the choice you make. And you have to understand that your friends are moving on with their lives and doing their shit on their side. When you do go home, the same people ain't going to be in the same place. just like your life is life, and so is theirs.
Mhm.
And that's
Yep.
another thing. People think that they're going back to a time capsule, but
Yes.
shit changes.
And when I say that, I'm like, I have done the same thing. I joked about the fact that I was supposed to be trying to go back to Texas for a little bit, like in May of this year. But then I was like, I'm not doing that. But at the time, I was like, I expect a parade. Okay.
Yeah.
I expect like everybody to be like, just the whole line of people just want to give me a hug. That ain't reality. That is not reality. They got things
It's
to do.
not. I love it because my friends will Kanye shrug and be like, "Oh, bitch, you back?"
Yeah. Or
All
expecting them to
right.
come over here. I'm like, I expect like every month somebody to be coming over here to Spain to visit me. They're like, girl, stop.
They ain't got
Okay.
Spain money, is the thing. But I mean, I like it
Yes.
sometimes. Like I remember going home for the first time in a couple of years, and I went to this old dive bar I've been going to for years. If you're from New Orleans, you know Snake and Jake's, and it is an experience that I have had many, many times. And so I went back to the States for the first time in 4 years, and I walked into Snake and Jake's, and the first thing the bartender said was, "Where the fuck have you been?" And that was everything. Welcome home, bitch. You want another drink? I was like, yes.
That is hilarious.
I know, right?
It was just last week. Like you've been gone for just a month. It's like years later.
Years later, I go, bitch, you back? Jesus Christ. Get the tequila. It's good to be home.
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much, Khephra. You guys make sure that you do like and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, please. Yes, please and thank you. Yes, please. Yes, and make sure that you like this video. If you're catching the replay, make sure that you're like #replay and let me know what your thoughts are. And I hope that you've enjoyed this. This went longer, but trust me, you, I think, are going to get some great information at every single part of this. So just
Here's hoping.
enjoy. And I look forward. I'm going to see you in person in the next few days. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
And again, make sure that you subscribe. And if you are interested in coming to the Melanin Madrid picnic that's going to be in April, make sure that you either subscribe to Melanin Madrid Facebook group or Black in Zaragoza Facebook group, and you will see all the information. And if you are interested in coming to hang out and bop around and enjoy a few days of Madrid and of Zaragoza, make sure that you join Black in Zaragoza, or you could also join Exodus Summit. If you're in that community, there's an event in there for the meetup, the Spring in Spain meetup. So yeah, you got options. You got options to make it happen. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, girl. Hold on just a second. I'm trying. Where's my stupid mouse at? It just kind of disappeared on me. I'm like, what the hell? And so yes. Anyways, much love and hold it up.